Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 for the paper of business study of May-June 2021, paper 2, variant 2. You have a separate case study for this paper. For question number 3, we're only going to look for appendix 3, which is the last one in the case study paper. We are told to explain 2 reasons why the cash flow forecast in appendix 3 is important to TT. Now, these 2 reasons are very obvious reasons that I picked and the most simple ones to understand. So let's go. So the first reason is to monitor the liquidity of business. The explanation for this reason is to track for any problems. If there is, then Tandeep, needs to come up for solutions like organizing an overdraft in order to persuade the bank for getting a loan. If TT were facing a financial problem or their liquidity is not going well, so they would have to, let's say, get a loan from the bank. In order to do that, the cash flow forecast will be very helpful in order to organize an overdraft to persuade the bank. It's also like as a proof for the business. Another reason is to see if there is sufficient cash. This will help TT to know whether they could go on with their day-to-day expenses without any obstacles like the need for additional working capital. Then there's So there's many other reasons. Another reasons is to track the business performance. A cash flow forecast basically tells you how much you're earning every year, whether you dropped behind. You could compare each year's cash flow forecast in order to make new decisions or stuff like that. So there are many reasons. Okay, that's it for this question, or this part of this question. Part B of question 3 is asked us to consider how job description job specification, short list of candidates will be helpful in the recruitment process for TT, which is the most important stage to ensure Tandeep recruits the best person to be a manager in TT. And as usual, justify your answer. So job description provide outlines for the duties of the job, setting out clearly what the toy manager is expected to do. It will also be easier to get the suitable candidate for the job, as they would get to know exactly what has to be carried out for the particular job. Now, basically, job description is simply important. The recruiter or the business will be able to list out what they are expecting from their candidates, so that not anyone could sign up for this. It will also show a clear view of the future of this job, because if you were to offer a job and it isn't clear, then you'll face a lot of problems when it comes to recruiting and during the workforce. So this is for job description. You can rephrase this however you like, and there's other points, but this is basically the meaning of job description. So just by defining what is job description, will be able to get you the answer. Now we have to talk about job specification. So basically it makes it clear what qualifications, experiences, and skills the business is looking for. This also helps for shortlisting when looking for the suitable applicants for the manager of the shop position. Job specification lists qualifications, experiences, and skills, etc. And now this doesn't really tell you how you're supposed to do things. It just tells you what you're supposed to be capable of doing. So it is not entirely the same with this. They are kind of similar, but not as much, because this one is more detailed. Job description. Okay, the last one is short list of candidate. Now, shortlisting is basically just getting all of your candidates or applicants and basically just putting them in a list where you find, let's say we have 100 applicants, and then you just take the ones that you need and you think that are best out of this 100, for example 10. Now this is very helpful, like you took 10 people out of 100, so in order to save time and basically not go to so much with interviews with useless like useless information, because some people are not suitable for this job. In order to prevent that from happening, you have to do shortlisting. So to make it in a more formal way, this helps minimize the choices of applicants for Tandip, as it makes it clear who are the possible candidates suitable for the manager of the toy shop position, saving time, making the process quicker. Now, when you write, you have to mention these, like Tandip, the business name, TT, the toy shop manager or the manager position, in order for the examiner to know where you're coming from, and to also show that you're actually you understand this question. And you really have to mention, because you will not be able to get full marks if you don't mention any of these in your explanation. Now for the conclusion, it's up to you, you can choose any, but for me I choose job description, as I think it's basically the most suitable. It kind of includes both job specification and description, but it's better, like I said, it's more detailed than specification. So job description is the most suitable method, as it makes it easier for Tandip to list details of the job accordingly for the applicants to know what is expected of them. It may be a waste to shortlist people with unsuitable skills, or just listing skills and requirements like in job specification. Now, if you were to only apply shortlisting without actually having job description or specification, this is also a waste of time. Even though you're like picking a handful of people, you're still not getting what you're hoping for, the result, as still there could be none of these applicants having the skills or requirements that you are looking for. So you have to put your job description on display before like before announcing for the job position that you want. All right, this is for this question. You can check your marking scheme for more answers, but I think this is it for this question. I think there's only one or two more answers, but for this part there's a lot, so check for this part and choose whichever you feel like you understand the most and stick with it, because these questions usually repeat themselves. And yeah, and don't forget to mention the business when you write. All right, now for the last question for this paper, for part A of question 4, you have to explain 4 reasons why the level of inventory is important to TT. Basically, you have to know what is level of inventory. So level of inventory is basically how much inventory you have, or you at the moment, or how much you're expected to have. So why is it important to know what is the level of inventory of your business? Well, basically to earn revenue from sales of nursery equipment, having enough. Basically this speaks of having enough. Okay, you have to mention like these nursery equipment, furniture and stuff like that. Another reason of why the level of inventory is important to TT is to ensure the demand can be met, to avoid losing customers for push chairs. Now, if your level of inventory is low, you can't meet your customers' demand at all times, and it could be slow. You will basically lose customers at this point, and they will not be satisfied. Another reason is too much inventory increases the risk of out of date. Out of date, basically, the product will not sell anymore, as it will not be popular, or maybe some other products already surpass it, or it being damaged. For for example, the nursery furniture, because toys usually are not out of date. I would say nursery furniture are the most um, kind of product that gets damaged over time or outdated. Okay, so, and the last reason, it may take up too much storage space in the toy shop. Now the stocks, if there is too many or too much inventory. Now again, what is level of inventory? It is what are the inventory levels. Inventory levels refers to the amount of inventory you have available throughout your entire distribution network. So basically, by keeping track of your inventory levels, you can consistently meet demand while only storing the inventory you need at a given period. Basically, you always have to have the exact amount of inventory you need. Having too much or too less will always be a problem. So the business needs to make sure that their inventory level is always on point. So that is it for this part. Now part B. This is a tricky question, and it's quite hard to understand. It took me a lot of time to understand this question, and hopefully I actually did understand it right, because I've never been through this question before when answering for business paper. I mean, the format of this question is similar to formats before, but the way the question is written is quite confusing. So we'll go through that. I also need you to be having your marking scheme, because this one has a lot of trick answers as well. So you have to have it, to compare your answer if you answered this with the marking scheme. So this one is from the marking scheme, but I just arranged it because I just show you how you should arrange it from the marking scheme. Those of you who don't understand it, because it is tricky. Alright. So the question says, consider the following three legal controls. These three legal controls will affect TT. Which legal control will have the greatest effect? Justify your answer. So it's just like the above, but the way, like I said, the way it is written is not that clear. So our first legal control is no misleading promotion or misleading promotion. Okay. So toys cannot be described as performing a particular function and then not being able to do this. For example, a toy car advertised as being suitable for up to a certain weight of a child when the toy car is not strong enough to hold that weight. Now, this is an example of a misleading promotion. If TT were to advertise a toy of being able to carry a child or heavy weight of some sort, and it ends up not being able to do that, obviously you know what will happen. The business will get sued. So this is an example of misleading promotion. All right. So for this one, you can list an example, and you can list, like, here, justify the consequences. But this is, yeah. Another one is price cannot be advertised at being reduced when it has been previously sold at higher price. So any price reductions at the toy shop must be genuine reductions, or TT could be sued or fined. So basically what this says is that price cannot be advertised as being reduced when it has not been previously sold at higher price. So like if I were to have a product, for example a bag, and I sold it for, like this week I'm selling it for 50, and then next week I'm having a promotion and say, oh, this bag is for $50. I basically did nothing. I just did a promotion out of nothing. Like I haven't sold this bag before for a higher price. So basically this is cheating on your customers, and obviously you can get sued or fined for this. This is what this point says, but I thought this point is quite tricky, so I chose not to write it, but you can write it if you think that it's easy to remember. Another one for no misleading promotion is toys can be advertised as suitable for babies when their toy has small parts um, that could choke a baby. Well, this is obvious. This is a very obvious one because all toys usually have this sign of a hazard or choking hazard and something like that. So, and therefore, the toy is unsuitable. This may limit some of the claims made in TT advertisement. Need to make sure any claims about toys are correct, and it takes time and effort to check up on the fact that toy manufacturer. Now, this part is really not clear, but basically, if a TT were to promote for a product that has small parts and says that it's free, it's safe for babies and stuff like that, and it's not, then again the same consequences. Or they can still promote for this product, but they have to bring up the sign, that the hazard sign. They have to put, it has to be there, or else anywhere on the packaging or on the toy, or else the toy can't be sold. Okay, so that's it for this question. There's one more, but you guys can check this marking scheme for that one. All right, our next point is all goods must be safe for the consumer. Now, this is just like the choking one, but this one is promotion, but now we're talking about actual safety. Okay, toys sold must be safe for children. Um, as if a child is injured while playing with the toy sold by TT, then they could be sued for damages, which increase costs. Moreover, TT will gain poor reputation with customers, thus losing sales. Now, this has also this has something to do with advertising as well. Um, so they have to advertise for this product and to say, oh, this may injure the child, or they could put an age range. Like you can see, for example, in some toys from 0 to 3, those little ones for the babies, and then toys that are from 3 and above, or toys from 12 to 15, those like fake guns and stuff like that. So this is basically this point. All right, so there's also another point that says that if a toy car easily breaks when then TT will incur higher costs of having to replace the toy car, then return these to the manufacturer. So basically, TT should always be able to make sure of the quality of its product, or else they'll face these kind of problems like returning or replacing, or having to compensate their customers. So they should be careful when dealing with these kind of stuff. Last one is restriction on the type of packaging allowed. This one also has to do with safety as well, if you think about it, but we're not going to mention that because I think we've mentioned it a lot of times. So my point is, toys may be less attractive if there's no attractive packaging used. If so, there will be lower sales. So basically, TT should package their products in an attractive way in order to catch children's attention. And if that is not the case, then you know the drill. They will lose sales, they will lose customers, or not lose, actually they will not have customers. So it's packaging is very important for the success of business. Now for conclusion, I think that toys being safe is the most important one, most important legal control, because this one gets you in serious problem. Because for misleading promotion, I mean, it's at the end it's honestly up to the buyer or the consumer whether they want to buy it or not. Because some, in my view, some promotions are really, it's really easy to tell if they're fake or not. So this is not a very big issue over here, but for this one, the safety thing, I mean, if this wasn't mentioned or stuff like that, then this could really harm the business and the customers as well. So I think that toys being safe will have the greatest effect on TT. If this legal control is not followed, as TT could be sued for damages, and this will raise its costs and result in a bad reputation, leading to lower sales at the toy shop. Now, this is basically just a repetition of whatever we said above, but overall, this is the most, if this will hold the most effect on TT as a business if not followed correctly. All right, that's it for this paper. Thank you for watching. I really hope it helped. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos.